Good day everyone, and this is a lesson video of topic 2.3 compound interest. This lesson video consists of learning outcome, introduction to compound interest, and compound interest formula. At the end of this topic, students should be able to 1. Explain the concept of time value of money, 2. Derive the compound amount formula, 3. Use the compound interest amount formula to calculate the future value, compound interest, and present value of investment and loans. When you borrow money from a bank, you pay interest. If you want to know how much interest you will earn on your investment or how much you will pay above the cost of the principal amount of a loan, you will need to understand how compound interest works. Compound interest is calculated on the original and on the accumulated past interest. Concept of compound interest are used in financial planning, investment, budgeting, and financial control. In this chapter, we will discuss the time value of money and the use of compound interest in various financial fields. We can apply this concept to the valuation of different securities, loans, installment purchase, savings, insurance, and investment. This is time value of money. This time value of money is similar to the timeline that we have used on previous topic, where at the beginning of time has present value, which is previously known as principal, and at the end of time has future value, which is previously known as maturity value. Time value of money is actually emphasizing the concept of money has time value. That is, a ringgit today is worth more than a ringgit tomorrow. Money has time value because of its investment opportunities. Time value of money should not be confused with inflation, which tends to reduce the purchasing power of money. Assume an investment of 1,000 ringgit for 3 years with interest rate of 8% compounded annually. The amount at the end of third year is 1,259 ringgit 71 cent, where extra amount of 259 ringgit 71 cent is considered as interest earned. How compound interest is calculated? Compound interest is calculated on the original principal and on the accumulated past interest. Compound interest computation is based on the principal, which change from time to time. Interest that earned is compounded or converted into principal and earns interest thereafter. Hence, principal increase from time to time. Concept of compound interest are used in financial planning, investment, budgeting, and financial control. Let's gain some basic idea on how compound interest work. Consider this example, 1,000 ringgit is invested for 3 years. Find the interest received at the end of 3 years if the investment earned 8% compounded annually. So the amount of principal here is equal to 1,000 ringgit, and then interest rate, which is denoted as I, is equal to 8% or 0.08. Keep in mind, the formula to calculate interest still the same as used on simple interest topic, where the formula is I equal to PRT. However, some changes on interest rate, where interest rate now denoted as I instead of R. Let's calculate. On 0 years, the amount of principal is equal to 1,000 ringgit. Interest for first year equal to 1,000 times 0.08 times with 1 year, which is equal to 80 ringgit. On first year, amount at the end of first year is equal to 1,000 ringgit plus 80 ringgit. Therefore, amount at the end of first year is equal to 1,080 ringgit. Interest for second year is equal to 1,080 ringgit times with 0.08 times with 1, which is equal to 86 ringgit 40 cent. On second year, amount at the end of second year is equal to 1,080 ringgit plus 86.40 cent. Therefore, the amount at the end of second year is equal to 1,166 ringgit 40 cent. Interest for third year is equal to 1,166 ringgit 40 cent times 0.08 times with 1, which is equal to 93 ringgit 31 cent. On third year, amount at the end of third year is equal to 1,166 ringgit 40 cent plus 93 ringgit 31 cent. So, the amount at the end of third year is equal to 1,259 ringgit 71 cent. Therefore, interest received at the end of 3 years is equal to 80 ringgit plus 86.40 cent plus 93 ringgit 31 cent, which is equal to 259 ringgit 71 cent. Future value or maturity value of compound interest can be calculated by using the following formula. S equal to P multiply 1 plus I power of n, where S stand for future value or also known as maturity value, P stand for face value or also known as original principal, I stand for interest rate, N stand for number of interest period in the investment period. Compound interest I is the difference between future value S and original principal P. Now, from example A, let's calculate the amount at the end of 3 years by using compound interest formula. As given, the amount of principal P equal to 1,000, interest rate equal to 8% or 0.08, and N equal to 3 years. So from compound interest formula, S equal to P 1 plus I power of N, replace the value of P with 1,000 and interest or I with 0.08 and N with 3. Therefore, the amount at the end of 3 years is equal to 1,259 ringgit 71 cent. So this value is consistent with the value that has been calculated manually. Next, compound interest earned also can be calculated by using the formula of I equal to S minus P, where S equal to 1,259 ringgit 71 cent and P equal to 1,000. Therefore, compound interest earned is equal to 259 ringgit 71 cent, which is consistent with the value here. There are several important terms used in compound interest, such as 1. Original principal, denoted as P, is the original amount invested. 2. Annual nominal rate, denoted as K, is the interest rate for a year together with the frequency in which interest is calculated in a year. 3. Interest period is the length of time in which interest is calculated. 4. Frequency of conversion, denoted as M, is the number of times interest is calculated in a year. If interest is calculated annually, M is 1. If interest is calculated semi-annually, M is 2. If interest is calculated monthly, M is 12. If interest is calculated quarterly, M is 4. If interest is calculated every 2 months, M is 6. If interest is calculated every 4 months, M is 3. And if interest is calculated weekly, M is 52. 5. Periodic interest rate, denoted as I, is the interest rate for each interest period. Periodic interest rate is derived as K over M. 6. Number of interest period in the investment period, denoted as N, is the number of time interest is calculated. N is derived as MT, where M is the frequency of conversion and T is the investment period in years. Consider example B. Suppose 9,000 is invested for 7 years at 12% compounded quarterly. P here is 9,000. T is 7 years. K is 12% or 0.12. M is 4, referred to quarterly. As I equal to K over M, therefore I is equal to 0.12 over 4. That is 0.03. As N equal to MT, therefore N equal to 4 times with 7, which is equal to 28. From the formula of S equal to P1 plus I power of N, replace the value of P with 9,000, I with 0.03, and N with 28. Therefore, the amount at the end of 7 years is equal to 20,591 ringgit 35 cents. Let's derive new formula from S equal to P1 plus I power of N. Replace I with K over M as I equal to K over M, and replace N with MT as N equal to MT. Therefore, new compound interest formula is S equal to P multiply 1 plus K over M power of MT. Look at back on example B. Instead of solving example B by using this formula, we also can solve example B by using this formula by simply replace the value of K with 0.12, value M with 4, and value of T with 7. So the answer still 20,591 ringgit 35 cent. Look at another example, example C. 600 is invested for 4 years, 10 months. This investment is offered interest rate of 9% compounded quarterly for the first 2 years and 7% compounded monthly for the rest of the period. Calculate the amount at the end of the investment period. Firstly, identify all the important values, such as at the beginning of investment, P is equal to 600. From year 0 until year 2, T is equal to 2 as 2 minus 0. I with the formula of K over M is equal to 0.09 over 4. N with the formula of MT is equal to 4 times 2. From year 2 until year 4, 10 over 12, T is equal to 2 10 over 12. I is equal to 0.07 over 12. N is equal to 12 times with 2 10 over 12. In order to calculate the amount at the end of 4 years, 10 months, calculate first the amount at the end of year 2. Apply the formula of S equal to P, multiply 1 plus K over M, power of MT. For S2, replace the value of P with 600, replace the value of K with 0.09, replace the value of M with 4, and replace the value of T with 2. So S2 is equal to 716.8987. For S4 10 over 12, the amount of P here is the amount of S2. That is 716.8987. The value of K is 0.07, M is 12, and T is 2 10 over 12. So the amount at the end of 4 years, 10 months is equal to 873.66. The amount at the end of 4 years, 10 months also can be calculated by putting all together, such as 600 multiply 1 plus 0.09 over 4, power of 4 times with 2, multiply with 1 plus 0.07 over 12, power of 12 times 2 10 over 12. So the value at the end of 4 years, 10 months is equal to 873 ringgit 66 cent. Let's solve this question. 3 years ago, Johnson deposited 6,700 into an account that paid interest rate of 6% compounded quarterly. Calculate interest earned. In order to calculate interest earned, calculate first the amount at the end of 3 years. Solution: given P equal to 6,700, I with the formula K over M, where K equal to 6% or 0.06 and M equal to 4, which is referring to quarterly, and N with the formula of MT, where M equal to 4 quarterly and T equal to 3 years. So from the formula of S equal to P 1 plus K over M power of MT, replace the value of P with 6,700, K with 0.06 over 4, and then power of 4 times with 3. So the amount at the end of 3 years is 8,010 ringgit 64 cent. Subtract the value of S with P to find interest earned, where S equal to 6,700 and P equal to S equal to 8,010 ringgit $0.64 minus 6,704. Interest earned is equal to 1,310 ringgit 64 cent.